Welcome back guys. Last of Us Part 2 is now available on PC platform, released just a few hours ago. It's a remaster of the original game that was released in 2020 on PlayStation 4. The game is developed by Naughty Dog Studio. It is set 4 years after the events of The Last of Us Part 1. The game focuses on two playable characters, Ellie and Abby, in a post-apocalyptic United States. The former sets out in revenge for a murder. Don't want to reveal the spoilers. And the latter is a soldier who becomes involved in a conflict between her militia and a religious cult. It's an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective in which we fight against humans and zombie-like creatures who are infected with some kind of a fungus. PC version of the game does not require a PlayStation Network account to run, but if you sign into your PlayStation Network account while playing the game, you'll gain some in-game rewards mentioned here. In India, the game is priced at around Rs 3300. In US, it's priced at around $50. You can buy the game at a cheaper price from Greenman Gaming. If you have the XP Gold Tier membership, you can get it for around Rs 2800. In this video, I'll be testing the game on my Windows PC that has a Ryzen 5700X CD processor and an RTX 2070 Super GPU. This game supports FSR 3.1. Even the upscaler is decoupled from frame generation. You can combine DLSS Upscaler with FSR frame generation, but with the official FSR implementation, Nvidia Reflex will not work. This is why I'll be using Nukem9's free DLSS G2 FSR 3 mod. The mod will simply replace the in-game DLSS frame generation with FSR frame generation, which is compatible with Nvidia Reflex, will help in cutting down the latency. The game comes with an older version of DLSS Upscaler, it's version 3.7. I was not impressed by the image quality. It was looking noticeably softer compared to DLSS 4 transformer model. I would recommend overriding DLSS Upscaler via Nvidia app. Very simple method. Out of the box, DLSS Upscaler's auto exposure setting is disabled in this game. I'll be enabling it via Optiscaler mod. This setting helps in reducing ghosting around some objects in the environment. Also fixes the texture shimmering effect produced by shiny objects. These are the game system requirements. Recommended hardware: processor Ryzen 5 3600. I have a better processor than this. RAM 16GB. GPU RTX 3060. With my GPU, I'll be targeting high to very high settings. It will boil down to the VRAM usage. My GPU has 8GB of memory available. Storage 150GB. SSD recommended. This game supports direct storage. It's highly recommended to install it on an NVMe based SSD. It will help in reducing the load times. Game's actual size is around 115 GB. In order to activate the transformer model of DLSS 4, we just need to set the model preset to K. To verify Upscaler's details like its version and model preset, I'll be using DLSS Debug overlay. We'll show you how to enable it. Just copy this registry code provided by Emos. Copy. Create a new text file anywhere on your PC and name it anything you want. I'll just name it as overlay. Change its extension from .txt to .reg. Hit enter. Yes, open with Notepad. Paste the lines here. Click on file, click on save, close and run this registry file. This will enable the DLSS debug overlay. If you want to disable it, just replace the number 4 here with 0 like this. Click on file, click on save, close and run this registry file. I'll revert the change as I want to enable the DLSS debug overlay. Execute the file. OK, done here. First I'll run the game without any mods installed. We'll highlight the difference in terms of image quality between DLSS 3.7 and 4. Games launcher, click on options here. Display settings, mode set to full screen, full HD resolution. Upscaler set to DLSS using its quality preset. Sharpness level set to 5. Reflex on. Frame generation disable. VSYNC off. FPS cap 360. Graphics preset set to high. Depth of field off. Motion blur off. Bloom disable. Lens flare off. Chromatic aberration. Intensity set to nil. Same thing for film grain intensity. In Last of Us Part 1, shaders used to get compiled at startup menu. This used to take some considerable time depending on your PC's CPU. This does not happen in this game. Some shaders get compiled during the load screen. It only takes a few seconds if the game is installed on an SSD. Rest of the shaders get compiled during the gameplay. You'll get to know about this when you see the CPU threads usage getting maxed out while you're playing the game. Games menu. Settings can be accessed from here as well. See, graphics, display. Sign into PlayStation Network account. I haven't done that. There's Joel. This is the game's prologue. Features a big area with thick foliage. Good for highlighting the difference in image quality between DLSS upscalers. Just observe the power lines here. Some aliasing is produced around them. Observable during motion. FPS is close to 90. Check out the DLSS debug overlay in the bottom left corner. Model preset used is E, version of the Upscaler 3.7. Auto exposure setting is off. So the character model. Joel's beard is looking a bit pixelated. The yellow grass is looking a bit soft. There's a big city right ahead of us. FPS is within a range of 76 to 80. Now I'll override DLSS Upscaler via Nvidia app. Open Nvidia app. Go to graphics. Click on the three dots here. Click on refresh. It will load up all of the games that are installed on your PC. From this list, look for Last of Us Part 2. There it is. Scroll down to the end. We just need to access DLSS override model preset settings. Click on the pencil icon next to it. Select the second option. Use different settings for each DLSS technology. Now click on the drop down bar below super resolution and select latest. Click on apply. Close. I'll also install Optiscaler and Nukem9 mods in this game. First, download the latest nightly build of Optiscaler from GitHub. I'll give its link in the description. This is the build that I'll be using. 0.7.7 preview 7 2025 0322. Click on the .7z link here. I'll be using build 0.130 universal version of Nukem9 mod. You can download it for free from Nexus Mods. Just need to have a free Nexus Mods account in order to download any stuff from here. Click on manual download under universal. Click on slow download. The download will start. First I'll install Optiscaler mod. Just open the mods archive file. Copy these two files, optiscaler.tll and optiscaler.ini. Just need to paste them in the game's install directory. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files. Paste the two files here. Change the name of optiscaler.tll file to txti.tll. Now just open optiscaler.ini file. From here you need to set FG type to Nukems, as we'll be using Nukem9 mod. Click on file, click on save, close. Now I'll install Nukem9 mod. Open the mods archive file. Open DLL_version folder. Copy this DLL file. DLSS G2 FSR 3 AMD is better. Open the games install directory. Paste the DLL file here. We are done. Now make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting is enabled on your PC. Right click anywhere on the desktop, click on display settings, click on graphics, click on advanced graphics settings and enable this setting, hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting. If your monitor supports VRR, enable the setting as well. Now I'll enable VSYNC from Nvidia control panel. Click on manage 3D settings, click on program settings. From this drop down bar select Last of Us Part 2, scroll down to the end, enable VSYNC from here. Apply the changes. My monitor is G-Sync compatible. I'll enable the corresponding settings for it. Click on setup G-Sync. Enable the following settings. Enable G-Sync compatible. Enable for full screen mode and enable settings for selected display model. I'll enable G-Sync compatible indicator. This step is optional. Click on display here and check this setting. We are ready to run the game. Using the same settings as before. Don't touch the frame generation setting. Yeah, you can see we have access to DLSS frame generation setting. This means Nukem9 mod is working. High settings. Open Optiscaler mod menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. From this drop down bar, make sure DLSS is selected. See its version here 310.2.1. Same can be seen in the DLSS debug overlay. Render preset used is K. This means the transformer model of DLSS4 is activated. Base resolution 720p upscale to full HD. Auto expose setting is on. Just check this setting here. In Optiscaler menu, auto exposure. Nukem9 mod is disabled for the time being. Click on save INI. close. Though it the same sequence, observe the power lines now. Yeah, they are looking less alias, all thanks to DLSS 4 compared to DLSS 3.7. Even the grass blades are looking sharper. Joel's beard is not looking pixelated anymore. Highly recommended to use DLSS 4 in this game. FPS is close to 70. We were getting slightly better performance using DLSS 3.7, especially with this city view in front of me. 80 FPS now. Now I'll test the game in another area with different graphical presets and DLSS 4 upscaler enabled. I'll run the game with low settings, motion blur disabled, playing as Ellie. I'm in a small town with a lot of NPCs. Look at that CPU load, close to 80%. This dog wants me to pet it. Graphics are looking very bland. Would not recommend running the game on low settings. Look at the ground textures. Lighting is looking so bad as well. FPS is close to 100. Good 1% close.
Hi, Jesse.
Oh, hi.
VRAM usage is close to 6.3 GB. Now I'll test the game with the medium settings. Set the preset to medium. Disable motion blur. This setting gets enabled automatically whenever we change the graphics preset. Back to the game. Yeah, VRAM usage increased to around 6.7 GB. The ground textures are looking much better now. Lighting improved as well. There's the dog.
Hey, old timer. Yeah,
Hitting the GPU bottleneck. CPU load is still on the higher side, close to 80%. Everything is looking so clean. I can read the text here on this notice board. Again, DLSS 4 is doing a good job.
Hi, Jesse.
Not impressed by the shadow quality. See, I'll switch to high settings now. Hopefully the VRAM usage will still stay below 8 GB. Preset set to high. Disable motion blur. Resume the game. Yeah, FPS is close to 85 now. With the medium preset we were getting close to 100 FPS. VRAM usage is close to 7.7 GB. I'm a bit worried about the VRAM usage. In some other areas it can increase further. Or look at the shadow quality here. The character models are so detailed. Noticeable improvement in the shadow quality again. See, good 1% close. RTX 2070 Super GPU can definitely run the game on high settings. It will be interesting to see how the game runs on the very high preset. Pretty sure VRAM usage will exceed 8 GB. Preset set to very high. Motion blur off. It's the same sequence here. Now FPS dropped to around 55. Animation is looking a bit choppy. Game does seem to be playable, but in some areas it may stutter when the game runs out of VRAM. This can happen.
Hi, Jesse.
Areas with thick foliage. So I'll just drop the settings to high and then enable the in-game FSR frame generation. Yeah, FPS suddenly dropped from 70 to 55. Leads to a very jarring experience. Preset set to high. Motion blur disabled. In-game FSR frame generation enabled. Restart the checkpoint. The FPS increased to around 125. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. FSR frame generation is definitely working. Without frame gen, here we were getting around 85 FPS. I'll switch to the A mode. Okay, now I'm experiencing some latency. I'm using my mouse to look around. Some latency is present, nothing extreme. Game is definitely playable. Not observing any noticeable artifacts around Ellie's character model. Game's HUD elements are not flickering. Open my backpack. You can craft items in this game. Need to collect the resources from the environment. Now I'll switch to Mod FSR frame generation. Set frame generation to DLSS. Apply. Restarted the checkpoint. Yeah, FPS is close to 125. Roughly the same performance using Nukem9 Mod and official FSR frame generation implementation. Game is running very smoothly. Immediately I can feel the improvement in latency, especially while using the aim mode. We can verify whether the mod is working or not via Optiscaler's debug view. Open Optiscaler menu and check this setting, enable debug view. No HUD elements are visible in the bottom middle image. Look at that circle shown on the dog in the bottom right image. This circle is not visible in the bottom middle image. Displays are working properly for all of the images. The color palette is exactly the same for the bottom middle and bottom right images. So FSR smoothing effect should work properly. After verifying the upscaler's details, just disable the DLSS debug overlay. It's flickering, very annoying. I'll disable it and test the game in another area.
Hey, Jesse.
Just need to edit the registry file that we created earlier. Replace the number 4 with 0. Click on file here, save, close, run this registry file. Okay, we are done. Using the same settings as before, full HD resolution, DLSS Upscaler, quality mode, DLSS frame generation on, reflex on, high settings, motion blur disabled. Now I'm playing as Ellie. Show you some combat. There's a clicker nearby. Oh no, it seems it sensed me. This creature is completely blind, but it's very sensitive to sound. Walk very slowly whenever you're near a clicker. That's an infected zombie. Both of these creatures cannot detect a flashlight. Keep it on whenever you're in a darker area with these creatures around you. Use the stealth approach to kill the clicker. I'll hunt down another clicker. It's nearby. Okay, now I'll use my firearms. Forget about using the stealth approach. Throw a Molotov cocktail. That did not go well. Dina is throwing punches. I have equipped a brick. We'll try to smash this creature. Good performance. FPS mostly stayed above 100. Now I'll test another area. Now I'm playing as Abby. This is a chase sequence. Horde will be chasing me. I'll just alert everyone. That didn't take long. Keep an eye on the FPS counter and the frame pacing graph. VRAM usage is close to 7.8 GB. The entire area is covered in snow. It's a storm. I'll just look behind. And these creatures are right on my tail. Oh my god. It's not good. Don't even think about stopping here. Looking for resources. Those creatures disappeared when I looked behind. Game's way of saving hardware resources. No end to these things. I'll just look behind again. Look at that beautiful lighting. Oh no, these creatures are still coming. Not safe here.
Okay, up this way.
No one's here. This thing popped out of nowhere.
Damn it!
Managed to dodge its attack. Climb the fence. Squeeze through here. This should be a safe zone. Picked up the medkit. I don't think this fence will be able to hold them off. Scripted sequence. That creature grabbed me. Need to get this creature off me. Just need to spam the F key. Joel saved me. The Day 1 performance of Last of Us Part 2 is considerably better than its predecessor. Part 1 suffered from a VRAM leak. At launch, it was struggling to run smoothly even on GPUs with 12 GB of VRAM. This is not the case with Part 2, but Part 2 is a remaster and Part 1 was a proper remake. Threw the Molotov cocktail, burned down these things. I've only played the game for about 3 to 4 hours so far on my PC. Didn't encounter any major performance issues. This is just a Day 1 performance. We'll cover the later areas in another video. Nukem9 Mod works very nicely, enables FSR frame generation and Nvidia Reflex, which helps in cutting down the latency. DLSS 4 does a good job of improving the image quality by increasing the sharpness and reducing the aliasing around some objects in the environment. That's it with the video, guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.